Hey guys, it's Tracy. So today I'm going to bring you a little video of a walkthrough of my Project Life album so far this year. I realized the other day that I haven't actually really showed most of the pages. You've seen some of the ones that I've done for Studio Calico, but I've got almost 6 months worth of spreads that you guys haven't had a chance to see yet. So I'm not going to be photographing all of them just because there's a lot there, and that's a lot of taking pictures and editing and uploading and resizing and all of that. So I'll probably take some pictures of my favorite spreads so far, but I thought I would just show them all to you in video form. So right now I've got 5 completed months here in this album. I have another album that I sort of is my work in album. So this one stays on my shelf because it is white and I don't want it to get super dirty. So this is the one that just stays on my shelf, and then I have another album that I use for when I work on each month. So I don't do my spreads in a weekly format. I do them in a monthly format. I try and stick loosely to a weekly basis, so one spread sort of covers a week, but it's definitely not defined weeks. I do try and keep it to 4 or 5 spreads per month, which again would sort of be a weekly type thing, but I just kind of document whatever I feel like I want to put in here. So I'm actually using a 12 by 12 white Becky Higgins album. Eventually I'll switch them into an actual 9 by 12 album, but I have so many spare 12 by 12 albums that it just seems silly for me right now not to use them. So here is my album 1 title page, which if you frequent the Studio Calico site, you would have seen. I'm also using these monthly calendars as sort of my divider point, as well as Becky Higgins clear dividers, which I'll show you when I flip the calendar here. So this calendar is from a company called Harley Quinn & Co. They're on Instagram, and I believe they also have a website. She is an Australian-based artist, and she offered this up as a free printable for 2015. So I just used Photoshop to change the weeks because she had them starting on a Monday, and I like to start my weeks on, well, I consider my weeks started on a Sunday. So I just sort of changed that all in Photoshop, and then I just printed them out on just regular cardstock using a laser printer, not anything super fancy, and then I just cut them down to fit into the pockets. So these are the dividers that I was talking about. So they're just the plain plastic Becky Higgins Project Life brand dividers, and I just took a white paint pen from Michael's and I just wrote the month over and over and over and over and over again. I did this probably in like October last year, and because I like to prep my albums far in advance. So I have one of those for each month that starts usually where the title is, the calendar is, but for this one I just for some reason have it here. So this spread I have shared on the Studio Calico website, I believe. Actually, no, maybe I haven't shared this one. I'm using various pieces of, I think, the Cirque kit here. And I also wanted to document a pretty big haircut. I got about 10 inches cut off, which is the first time I'd done that in probably 7 or 8 years. So it was kind of nice to go for short hair, but I'm definitely missing my side braid even now. So here's one for January, and this is one that I've shared on the Studio Calico site. This was using the Cirque kit. And this here is this is an Instax picture that I messed up on, so I didn't want to throw it out because even one that doesn't work out still costs about $1 for the picture. So I just added some white letters over top and said, oops. So that way I'm still using it. And well, my Instax camera still doesn't get as much use as I wish it would. Another thing that I'm doing again that I did last year is incorporating full page photos. I really like the effect of them, and also when you don't really have much that you want to include, they definitely fill up the pockets. So here's another full page picture, and this is probably one of my favorite pictures that I've taken so far this year. I really like how it incorporates a lot of things that I like, and it's got Sophie's little paws there, which were not staged. She actually was up on my desk. My desk backs my bed, and so she likes to sit there and watch, and she put her little paws up, and I knew I had to include those. This is a spread that isn't finished yet, and it probably will remain unfinished. I kind of struggled with this one. It was a lot of sort of white and blue, and blue's not really my color to work with, so I kind of struggled, but I left it and I moved on, and you know what? That's just how life is sometimes. So my birthday is at the beginning of February, so my mom and I went down to just outside of Seattle for a day. So I used this baseball card insert to sort of document that day, and then to document some stuff from my birthday, which was the following day. And I just used a little tab here. And then here I've got another full 6x8 picture here that I really like. And yes, Studio Calico people, that is Tara. Here's another one that I have yet to finish, that just one of those layouts that just didn't really seem like it was coming together, so I just left it and moved on. This here is just a 5x7 Becky Higgins page. I printed an Elise Blaha crepe digital stamp onto some vellum. It worked perfectly because one of my friends was in town visiting, so it just kind of went nicely slipped into the week here. And this was a bag from some Chipotle that I had, and I really liked the quote because, well, I think it's pretty true, and so I just thought it's a great size. It just fit into an 8x10 page protector, and I just cut it down. And then on the back here, I just included my Oscars nomination ballot from what I guessed to what the actual award went to. Didn't do too well, but I never do. So I like how this spread turned out. It's got some bits of gold, which of course I really like. And I don't often use sort of like a mint teal color, but I found that it really went with the pictures from this, well, not week, but just went with these pictures. And I really like how it turned out. I should use this color more often. And here, I really like this. I was shopping one day, and this happened to be on the floor of a department store, and so I raced over to it and looked like a loser, but I took a picture of it. And here, this is another thing that I continue to do from last year, is I take screenshots of the pictures that I've liked on Instagram. I think it's really fun to kind of capture what friends are doing or what the Kardashians are doing. And it just sort of shows things. I think this will be kind of cool to look back on and go, oh yeah, this is, you know, what this person looked like, and oh yeah, I remember this. And so I really seem to like pink flowers, which shouldn't really be a surprise, but yeah, this is something I really enjoy doing. Here's another spread where some journaling isn't finished, probably will remain finished. unfinished. I don't really like to journal. It's not my favorite thing to do. It just kind of feels a little weird to me. So if I do journal, it's usually on pictures and it'll just be like a sentence. It feels weird for me to journal out something on, you know, a full card. It's just not how I am. So I like journaling directly onto my pictures. Just throw a sentence here, a sentence there, and that's it. So here's a couple other things that I need to put in some filler cards for. And here again, I'm sort of using enlarged pictures to fill up the pockets. And this here is a sort of a glitter sequin pocket that I made. I just used a wood burning tool for this. The fuse tool wouldn't work because the glitter is so small, it goes through all the little dots. So I had to like solidly seal that up, and in the process got glitter all over my kitchen. So this is one that I shared on the Studio Calico website using one of the kits. But this here is a little insert that I did. My friend Steph and I went down to the States for the day, and so I used one of the 9x12 all square pages, and I cut it down to be 6x12 and used a little tab here. And I just thought it was a great little size to include some extra pictures from that day. Here's another full page photo. So now we're into May, which is the last month that's in this album. These two spreads here I've shared on the Studio Calico website. And this here is my recent trip to New York. I was able to get all of my pictures printed and sent to Costco while I was sitting at JFK waiting for my plane to take off. And I actually got an email while I was in the air that my pictures were ready. So I got home pretty late, but the next day I went out and I picked up all my pictures. I added them, I printed them as 4x6s, so I used pick frame on my iPhone, and so I added two 3x3 pictures to one 4x6, and then I just needed to cut off the top strip, and they just fit perfectly into the pages. I used bits and pieces from the A Beautiful Mess Messy box for this, and then I also used my fuse tool to make some triangle pockets and some sequin pockets. And this was a really great trip. I got to meet some people from Studio Calico, and I got to meet Amy Tan and hang out with some really awesome people, as well as getting to see my friends. So that was really great. And I printed some 6x12 pictures also at Costco. I just added two 6x12 pictures to one 12x12 photo, and then when I got them home, I just cut them in half and stuck them into these page protectors. And again, here's some bits from the messy box. In hindsight, I wish I had have planned this pocket a bit better. It kind of cuts me right down in the middle of the face, but oh well, it happens. And this here, I took a panorama shot of downtown Manhattan, or I guess lower Manhattan, using my iPhone. I was in Brooklyn, and I just took a panorama shot. This one I actually printed at home, so I was able to size it in Photoshop. And so I sized it to 3x9, and then just cut it out, and they fit into the pockets here. And I really like how that effect. It takes up the whole little row there. And that is the end of May. And so my June pages are in a different album. As I said at the beginning, I keep them in sort of like a working album. And so when June is done, I will add them to this album here. And then hopefully this album, well, hopefully it will hold a couple more spreads in here. It is getting quite full. And then I will move on to another album for the last half of the year. So I'll do another title page, and hopefully I'll do better at keeping everybody updated for those who are interested. And yeah, I'll try and take some pictures and keep you guys posted. Well, thanks so much for watching the video, guys. Have a great day.